Test the claim.
All right. So once again, sirs, thank you very much for coming here. It was very good to see you, to see some unbiased, outlets on YouTube. Test the claim, guys. Subscribe. Don't forget. Never forget to subscribe to Test the Claim. It's been pretty interesting. We've had a few discussions. Not too many though. People usually just stuck with their own different groups in a way. I had a discussion with Sean. I had a discussion with David Clues, who's one of the main people here of this group. I would say, from my opinion, these guys are anarchist isolationists politically. They don't believe in state. They don't believe in tax. They don't believe in any of that. Now, fair enough. Sure, you can be a person who believes a bit more or a bit less in the state, but not believing in states at all. It's a bit of an extremist opinion, I would say. But yeah, it was a civilized discussion. I think it was a pretty good discussion. We've exchanged some opinions. I still don't agree with them. They still don't agree with me. But at least we've had this little interaction, which is always important, to see how the other people think.
From the interaction that you've had, what do you gather is the foundation for this opposition against the support for Zelensky and the Ukrainian people?
I think the main opposition I've seen today, which is not the whole opposition, I've seen people being opposed to it for other reasons, is honestly because of conspiracy theories. I can't say it in a nicer way, to be honest. There's some people like Piers Corbyn, there's an RT worker here, a person who works for RT. This is clearly a propaganda machine going on by the Russians. They're trying to sponsor these people and trying to dump these silly ideologies like isolationism and anarchism into the UK, which is very unfortunate. I kind of feel bad for these guys that they're being brainwashed like this. That's the main thing. I would say conspiracy theories here, but that's not only the.
Do you think there are false narratives being propagated, and then maybe those are being used to manipulate the thinking of the British audience?
100%. There's it all starts with misinformation, with not being informed enough. Then it becomes first it starts with being uninformed. Then it becomes misinformed because they're giving you false information. And in the end, you get a few people who are simply disingenuous, who know that they're in the wrong, but just don't want to give up the influence they have with their group of people. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Again, I think most people here are not being disingenuous. I think this is what they think. This is what they believe. Unfortunately, I don't see any veracity in their points. I see as the only way of winning this war, the only way of realistically ending this war for good, like finishing this war, is to win the war for Ukraine. To have Ukraine win the war, to have Putin's government go down, new government for Russia, then we can move forward. But with the current Russian government, who has betrayed every single agreement and treaty they've made, and this is, David Clues told me himself, he doesn't care about international agreements. He said, with clear text, if the UK betrays the agreements, we should betray these agreements. Yeah, no problem. I don't know, man. I mean, all I can say about that is a good thing that the rulers of this country don't share that opinion, because then no one would trust you. Everyone would isolate you as a country. And we simply can't live in a world with zero stratification of power, with zero government. It's impossible, my friends. Even the cavemen had their own stratification of power. Even they had it. Even they had division of labor and stratification, and people in power, people who obeyed the others, and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's how it is. I don't have much more to say about these guys. I just kind of feel a bit of pity. Fortunately, there hasn't been any violence. They didn't really stop throwing punches or whatever. They were sometimes pretty rude. Sometimes they were calling names and ad hominems when they ran out of arguments, which happened very quickly because there's not a lot of arguments to defend Russia. But yeah, overall it was pretty all right. It was productive, I would say.
So I assume it continues to give you comfort that flag still flies above Whitehall up there.
Absolutely. Here we go. The beautiful flag of Ukraine here in London. It shows support that the British people give to the Ukrainian people. And I think that the West needs to show support for every single nation who's fighting for their freedom. Like Taiwan, like Ukraine, like they should have given to Hong Kong, like Iran. in a way, you know, because of their because of the Ayatollahs.
In the case of Ukraine specifically, you still feel that the appropriate type of support is financial and military, as in providing of arms, as opposed to a direct intervention by Britain and other allies. You don't expect to see them with boots on the ground in any significant numbers.
I don't expect to see it in any significant numbers, and honestly, I don't think it's particularly necessary. If the West provides Ukraine with the pinnacle of their armament, with their best armament possible, we won't really need boots on the ground from the West. I don't think Putin would ever use a nuclear weapon, but that's one of the few things that has a reasonable likelihood of bringing a nuclear war in this situation, which I think we should avoid at any cost.
I think that's probably a lose-lose for everybody
Yeah,
involved.
for everybody, absolutely. So no, I would not support direct intervention in Ukraine. I would not say that. I would say that needs to be more weapons sent to Ukraine. All the money that's necessary, which we're being sent right now, which is very good. We're very grateful for that. And yeah, I think just keep up the good work and do a little bit more in the weapons department. Because first they were saying, oh, no planes is a bit too far. But then they started sending MiGs, which is great. Now better planes, better artillery, better tanks, the best stuff. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe.